All right, everybody, welcome back. My bad, Wills. Go ahead. Okay.
Guys, welcome into the Jump to Start Racing podcast. My name is Wellington. I'm here with two of my closest friends. Ruben, the imitation. I like
What's going on, guys?
Yhancy?
Hi.
Oh, man.
See what happens when you wear like a chili hat?
Yeah,
Dude, you should have
he's
kept
spicy
going with
today.
that. I thought you were doing very well.
Thank you.
Very spicy today. Today will be...
I'm going to go back to listen to a couple of episodes, write down what Wellington says, and then come back.
Okay.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Like you did with
Yeah.
Guys, today we'll be talking about, obviously, the preview for the French Grand Prix. We'll try not to fall asleep while talking about it. We'll also talk about some news and a very special George Russell rumor. Let's get into it. Let's jump to start. Capacity crowds allowed for the 2021 Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort.
Yes.
A welcome addition, right? It was supposed to be on the calendar last year.
You cancel.
And it was canceled due to what's going on in the world. And now, not only is it back, but it will have a full capacity crowd. What does that mean for us?
Well, it'll be, I think we will feel the excitement through the television, obviously, because we can't be there. Remember, this is Max's home race. Championship leader, Max Verstappen.
A lot of orange.
And as we see at the Austrian Grand Prix, which was, I guess, the default home race for him, when he's already won it twice. But the first year, last year he won it but there was no crowd. So, but the year before he did win it, and the crowd was going absolutely nuts.
The year before it was the one he was going back and forth with Leclerc, right?
Yes,
Gotcha.
exactly.
I got some glimpse on that.
And the crowd was going absolutely nuts, and we were going absolutely nuts in the bar.
Yep.
So imagine now at Zandvoort, in his home country, not around his home, in his home country, that's going to be insane. And
Orange smoke bombs all over the place.
everywhere.
It's going to be awesome.
Well, I don't think we'll be able to even see the cars on
It's
TV.
gonna be like
gonna
Fast and
see a
Furious
haze
10.
of
Imagine that.
orange.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah, but it's gonna be cool. The organizers have been planning for it to be a capacity crowd. Obviously, they had, contingency plans if they didn't. But now that the government has approved, I think it's after June. I'm not sure. The Grand Prix is set to take place in September, so I think it's like June 30th. They're gonna open up. Like you have to be either you have to be vaccinated or recovering from COVID, or testing negative in order for you to attend it. And that's on all like major events where there's a big crowd. So obviously, and that includes the Dutch Grand Prix. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a great race. And remember, this is I think it's going to be the only track on the calendar where we have bank turns.
I was going to say that.
So, yeah.
It's also would that be our first race in full capacity?
I don't
So far.
know. I don't.
So
I mean,
far.
because they're expecting a full crowd at Silverstone too.
What?
Yeah, that's what they
I
planning.
thought they were going back to lockdown. Is over.
Well, I just saw a headline. I don't know.
No, there's changes coming, I guess,
Yeah.
to that Grand Prix, but I don't think it's going to be full capacity with the new restrictions that they have in place, because I think they just
Yeah,
extended.
the organizers are looking for it to happen, but we don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, it's still 3 or 4 weeks away. So, well, probably more than that. But
I mean, somebody has to take the risk of doing it and see if it works, and to see how the numbers shift as far as like where.
yeah, but it all
After the
depends
weekend,
on it
stuff
all
like that.
depends on like government regulations and what's going on. I mean, they're planning for that, but we'll see what happens. But it seems like the Dutch Grand Prix will be the one where it's full capacity, which is going to be, we've been to F1 races and we can see how we know how exciting it is during a qualifying session, even a race, how fun it is. A race is when you have you hear the crowd roaring or feel that energy when you've been there, but even through the TV. So, and even when we're at the bar,
The whole show is good. It's nice to
yeah.
if you're able to attend an F1 race, I strongly recommend to do it. Even the build up to the weekend, everything that's happening around that city, particularly. What else? Even when the race is about to start, when they're singing the national anthem, when the planes do the flyby,
Being in Mexico when Sergio Perez drives by,
Yes.
woo,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man.
woo.
So if you guys ever get a chance to go out to an F1 race,
yes.
definitely go.
Okay, so there's that. Hopefully we get a full 23 race calendar, no other issues. We saw Sergio Perez win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku. He gave a lot of credit actually towards Alex Albon, who tipped him off as far as what difficulties he had with the car. And Alex is also their sim driver, which is I feel like it's an underrated role in teams. As we remember, the Bergamo Bullet helped Ferrari a lot from, one day to another back in, 2019 when it was Vettel and Leclerc. What was it the year before? But the sim, a lot of times what ends up happening on Fridays in the practice races or in the practice sessions then gets translated through the sim driver's work into Saturdays, into the qualifying sessions. Alex Albon seemed to have provided a lot of helpful insight to Sergio Perez. Believe or no? I mean,
and to also Max Verstappen for the Monaco win, whatever. But
Do we believe it or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I do. Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Well, you could be nice and not provide a lot of impact.
He has.
I think he wants a future.
He had a year and a half in that car, driving that car. So he does definitely have the experience of what it feels like, especially when you're having difficulties driving the car. So obviously it's up to Perez to figure it out. But when you have somebody who has experience and can tell, you can pinpoint exactly, how did I handle this? Because Albon wasn't very good, but he did have his flashes of brilliance. He did get a few podiums. He was very good at what Perez is doing this year in fighting back after a bad qualifying. So Albon was always very good in overtaking and getting the best out of it. I think Albon's weakness which has been Perez's weakness so far, is qualifying up in the top 5 in order to help his teammate out. Albon could just never get it down. Perez is looking like he is getting better on a Saturday also.
I hope so.
Yeah, and then
we need that for him.
The purpose of a sim driver, or backup.
I wasn't
driver,
asked that. Like, what is?
Well, because they do the simulator work, and obviously,
is that the same role as a reserve driver?
It's the same thing. Well, yes, I mean, you can do both, but the Albon is the reserve driver also for Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is that obviously the goal of the test, let's say you get an actual test when you're driving the car, is to correlate the data that they have from the wind tunnel and CFD, which was a computer fluid dynamics.
Yep. Computational.
And all of that is put into the simulator. And obviously you get a baseline setup of what the track is going to be, but obviously when you get to the track, you want to see that data is the same. And if it's not, then you adjust accordingly. But if you have a good base, then you have less to work on during the weekend. If you're totally off, then you have a lot more to work on, and then you're just starting qualifying and the race on the back foot.
A big mess to understand all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we've seen, Sergio Perez said he would need the 5 races to be able to get acclimated to the car. Now we see that he is getting to that point between Monaco and Azerbaijan. We'll see how he does here in France. Hopefully he could keep it up. I don't know if I believe that I don't think I'll believe that he will. We'll get to our predictions later on. Speaking of teammates not getting the job done or getting the job done, the hot rumor around is that at Silverstone, Mercedes is going to announce the driver lineup for 2022, which will be an all-British lineup of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Can we say that, based on the way Bottas is performing, that this is just an inevitability? It's going to happen? Maybe not at Silverstone, but it's going to happen?
It's about time if we have.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just see another Rosberg Hamilton situation popping up if you put
Russell in there?
Russell in there.
I don't know, dude.
But then again, Russell is getting antsy. So if you don't give Russell the seat that he wants, or I don't know if Toto Wolff has promised him the seat at Mercedes, but he's gonna want to go to a better seat where he can at least fight for points. Because remember, look at the current generation that you have now. You have Verstappen, Leclerc, Norris. These young guns are fighting for poles. They're fighting for wins. They're fighting for podiums. And Williams is just languishing in the back on a team that
shouldn't be back there.
Shouldn't be back there, but they are.
Of the legacy.
They're better, but they're still fighting with a Haas or, they're fighting for last place, basically. They're fighting for.
So let's say, for example,
for the best of the whackness.
Whackness.
Yeah, like.
So let's say, for example, he doesn't get the seat, and he gets anxious, and I don't know, he leaves. Who do you think is going to grab him? Where do you think he go? Is he going to replace Beto at Aston Martin? Is he going to replace Ricardo at McLaren?
That's the thing. What seats are available next year? Where else can he go?
Or let's say, and not even next year, 2 years from now. Something like that. Like,
yeah. I don't know. It just depends on. You're probably going to have Hamilton sign for another year. It's not a foregone conclusion that that Mercedes will sign Bottas. Obviously, Bottas is going to stay with Mercedes if he has a choice.
No, he'll go to Williams, and Russell will come to Mercedes.
So George Russell started with Williams in 2019. So this is already season 3.
2. Oh, 3 years.
3 years.
Races, yeah.
Yeah. So, like you said, where's he going to go?
Mm-hmm.
That's really the main question. McLaren is set. Ferrari is set for now. And when they're not going to be set, they've already said Mick Schumacher's going into that role. Alpine.
Possible. But then you have rumors that Gasly might go to Alpine.
Yep.
Right.
That's always been the rumor, by the way.
Yeah, I don't see any other Red Bull team signing him.
Right. How much would Esteban
other
right. How much would Esteban Ocon love for him to be booted from Alpine for George Russell and then get that Mercedes seat? That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, but
That ain't happening.
That's not happening,
but Ocon is holding his own in Alpine.
He's doing really well.
He's doing better.
I don't see them getting rid of Alonso, and Alonso seems to be getting better. So, and Alonso signs for, I think, another year. No, he's signed for, 3 years? 2 years.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
So
Aston Martin?
They're not going to get rid of Stroll. Maybe if Vettel underperforms, but he seems to be getting better. And Vettel, I think, is signed for 3 years. So, where else can he go?
Stay put.
Stay put.
Toto holds all the cards.
No, what he could do is, since, he's known a Mercedes, Russell's known a Mercedes, just put water, like, in, Bottas radiators and stuff like that. So he'll have even more and more back.
Make him miss the flight.
This story just smells like the beginning of silly season. There's a reason why they call it silly season, because you hear silly rumors. But then again, listen, man, last season, what started everything off was, Ferrari getting rid of Vettel, and nobody expected that, and then everything else started
going.
Then Sainz left for Ferrari, so you got an open seat. So Ricardo signs with McLaren, which was super unexpected.
The first domino is going to be Kimi retiring. Everybody's going to want that Alfa Romeo seat. I know.
Right,
I know it.
To be with the bullet, to be next to the bullet,
to be in greatness.
No, and then you have you have Callum, who chose not to race in F2, but he's the reserve driver at Alfa Romeo. But he finished second last year in F2, so he deserves at least a chance at a drive, and he might get that seat at Alfa Romeo. So you don't know. It's still a lot of up in the air. Either way, even if he does get a chance and it's going to be at Alfa, how much of an upgrade is that than the Williams?
It's not.
Yeah, so
the only thing.
What the hell is the point?
The only thing I could see is that now with the regulation changes coming for 22, and then going for but you don't know what teams are going to be at the top.
Who's going to get it right? That's the key.
I would bet that Mercedes would come the closest.
Them and Red Bull and Ferrari definitely has the resources as well. So the top teams stay top.
So you don't
teams.
think Aston Martin would make, even though now they just announced that they're also going to raise their employments to 800 people now instead of, they want to close the gap.
How are they going to do that that's weird.
With the cost cap.
Because that counts for personnel also.
Maybe they're
So, like for example,
Maybe they're hiring,
Ferrari has a set budget set by their sponsors, so they needed to, go into a new program. So they decided to go into the LMP1. I mean, the hypercar in WEC, or World Endurance Championship.
Thank you, yes. WEC.
WEC. So I mean, I don't know how you're gonna hire more people and be under the. Maybe they just don't have the same personnel that other people have. I don't know. I mean, but like I said, it's just there's not many options right now, but things can change, and we've seen things change very quickly. It happened last year.
Yeah. Is there any way that Bottas could potentially hold on to that seat, short of winning the championship?
It's tough.
Depends on how he does in the. He can't have performances like Imola and performances like he did last week in Baku. Yeah, if he keeps doing that,
and he can't line up at the pit stop incorrectly, or at the pit.
Well, he didn't though. And Wolf admitted that he didn't. He finally admitted it that he did it. Yeah, he did. Look it up. He finally admitted that it wasn't his fault. He was surprised because if you look at the tape, Hamilton, when he went in for the pit stop, actually was more off mark than Bottas was.
But it's Hamilton, man.
So that's on the pit crew.
Hamilton doesn't heat up the tires that much.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean yeah, and then the Mercedes, I don't know. Mercedes seems like they're unraveling right now.
I don't know about unraveling, but
You think they're in panic mode
there's a lot of things.
or party mode?
party mode.
No, not party mode. There's a lot of things. For example, I mean, we all know Toto Wolff is a no nonsense type of guy, but there's a lot of things that have been said and done that are very uncharacteristic of Mercedes. Meaning, all right, you blame, Toto Wolff threw Valtteri Bottas under the bus only to retract that because it was, he supposedly he was off, in an off position when he came in for the pit with that pit stop, with the longest pit stop ever in Monaco. And and then he hits out at the team saying that it's unacceptable, and it's not something that you usually hear from Mercedes. So it's almost like a toxic.
So it's pretty much done. It's almost like Vettel and Ferrari last year.
I wouldn't
not
say
that serious.
I wouldn't say it's that serious, but it's starting to look. It looks like a team that's. It doesn't seem like it's Mercedes. Mercedes usually is like, oh yeah, we messed up, we'll come back next year. But now you have 2 races in a row, which you haven't seen in the hybrid era. I don't want to say toxic, but it just looks uncharacteristic. But it definitely seems that the pressure is getting to them. The pressure that Red Bull is putting on them week in, week out. It seems like it's getting to them, and that when you start putting pressure,
they're getting rattled.
They start getting rattled, and
Mistakes happen.
Usually the first sign of things going in disarray is people blaming other people, which Mercedes is, which they
no blame culture.
They pride themselves on having a no blame culture. So we'll see what happens. Verstappen and Red Bull are going to keep putting on the pressure, and if Perez keeps doing what he's doing, the pressure is on, as we have said before.
Thank you, Paris.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this is something that we wanted to happen, and it has. We thought it would happen with Paris joining the team, and we're just seeing it come into fruition.
Yes,
now.
sir.
Yeah.
Which is fun for us.
So, yeah. Speaking of organizations, actually, one thing that Toto Wolff said is that he debriefed the team coming from Azerbaijan as if it was Williams, right? Did I read that quote correctly?
Well,
that he beat them up pretty good.
Yeah. Well, the headline was more sensational than what he actually said. He was doing a talk. I think it was at a university, and what he was saying was that when they finish first or second, it seems like they're having a debrief at Williams, meaning that it seems like they did as bad as Williams, finishing in last place or in 10th place or something like that, because they're so critical of themselves. And even if they do win, they're hypercritical to the point where they just want to make sure that everything goes off perfectly, which in a way explains why they've been so successful.
So I got a question for you. Toto Wolff. He is team principal Mercedes. Besides, owning part of the team and all that stuff, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
He's a third owner.
Where the hell,
1/3 owner of the team. So.
Where the hell does he find time to speak at university? I could barely do my job.
Dude, it's...
I could barely do my job, and this guy is finding time to talk at university and all that other stuff.
It's part of the job, sponsors, all of that stuff. It's part of the job. That's what a team principal does.
And talk at university, about...
Team principal is basically the face of the team when it comes to dealing with, sponsorships and interviews and...
Did you see the Ferrari fashion show yesterday?
No.
Okay, I was going to ask you if you being the Ferrari fan, you probably saw it.
Yeah, no. I mean,
if Binato was there.
I did that intentionally because I wanted to go into the next thing, which is a Williams story. So
my bad.
you guys took it way further than what I anticipated.
Okay, welcome back, Yhancy. Welcome back.
He's doing a good job of corralling us today.
Yeah. So speaking of Williams, there was a
Totally messed up the segue.
Yeah.
Totally messed it up.
Williams announces exit of F1 team principal Simon Roberts, who stepped in after the Williams family stepped down, and now that what's his name,
Jost
Capito is going through with their reorganization at Williams. The role of Simon Roberts has been streamlined down and is being essentially homologated into another job or another set of jobs. Does it matter?
Yeah, it matters in...
I think there's more to come than that. That's part of the restructure of the
when
team.
Jost Capito came in, his first... what Williams described was like 100-day period of, I don't know what it is, like observation and see what they can change as far as like structurally within the team to make it better. What they found was that it seemed like the design team, which basically designs the cars, and the racing team were always blaming each other because either something was designed wrong and that's why they not winning races, or
winning races.
Yeah, or not winning races, but just doing better. So instead of the no blame culture at Mercedes, there was a blame culture at Williams, which I guess shows.
Especially all the way in the back.
Yeah. So it seems like the team was reporting to, like the racing team was reporting to the racing director, which was Simon Roberts, and the design team was reporting to, I don't know who the other guy was, but there wasn't one person there where they can put it together and be like, okay, do this, do that. So Jost Capito came in and just basically, because what Simon Roberts was doing was just being a race director. He wasn't really being the team principal. So there was no cohesion between the design team and the racing team. And that, we all know that's not going to work. So now, Wellington said, you streamline it. And now they all answer to Jost Capito. Jost Capito. And, and hopefully we saw that a restructuring can work at Ferrari. We saw that happen at McLaren.
That was what I was going to say. Williams, please pick up the phone, call Zach Brown. He's probably going to charge you a fee to tell you how he did it, but to give you the step-by-step instructions.
Ruben's favorite team.
Yeah, and we saw that happening too with Alfa Romeo when Monisha Kettleborn was let go, and Fred Vasseur came in, and then obviously the went from Sauber to Alfa Romeo, and there was a structural change there, and
they stopped using the engine from 2 years ago.
Why do you? There's nothing to do with this, man. Stop.
You see, he's sensitive about the cheating engine.
Jesus,
I said, they stopped using the engine from 2 years ago.
I told you one day I'm going to blow up.
Sauber was using an engine.
Because Sauber happening today.
At the end, Sauber was using like a 2-year engine.
Oh, at that time, yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, Yhancy. I took it back.
Don't be using, stop saying cheating engine.
We're about to streamline this.
Yeah. No, but you're right. They were using a 2-year-old Ferrari engine. Yeah, I got you. And they were set to use, actually, to take on Honda before when Fred Vasseur stepped in and shored up the Ferrari ties. So
okay.
So yeah, restructuring it could work for Williams. As
they have to do
correct.
They have to do something.
Yeah.
It's getting better, but all right. So French Grand Prix preview for us. As always, we lead off with trivia. However, before we start, we had been talking previously. We tapped the table. Now we have our little buttons. Ow. Make sure. Just grab my little blue button.
Let's get the preview. Press.
Yeah. So my sound is
So we got buzzers now.
buzzers. All right. So Ruben,
So Ruben, you're the judge, and you have to
identify who goes
identify
first.
who went first.
Jeez. Okay. You can. It's not a lot. Reading.
You got it. I think you got it covered.
I think you do okay, Ruben. I think you'll do well, especially that you have that hat on today.
Thank you.
That hat. Let's go.
Go Chile. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So we go back to French Grand Prix. Let's go to trivia. I got an easy one for you guys. Name the driver that has won the most French Grand Prix.
Michael Schumacher.
Yeah, that's true. No, sorry, my bad. Wrong button. Yeah.
Thank
It's
you,
actually
thank
won it
you,
8 times. Got another one, medium one, I think.
What score?
I'm up 1. I
Okay.
forgot. I got to go back and look
Yes,
at the scores.
You gotta start cheating, dude.
Cheating. Like Ferrari.
I'm about to get a Ferrari engine.
Name the 2 drivers besides Alain Prost to have won at Paul Ricard more than once.
Got Paul Ricard more than once?
Yes,
2 drivers?
2 drivers.
Jesus. If we name one, can we get it right?
No.
And try. Okay, let's go to one of these. Or name one of the 2 drivers. There you go. Name one of the 2 drivers besides Alain Prost that have won at Paul Ricard more than once.
Nigel Mansell.
No!
Joe.
Wow.
I'll let you take the guess on the other one.
It had to be Senna.
Who was the other one?
Lewis Hamilton.
Oh. Recently.
Damn!
I just said Paul Ricard.
How did we not get that? Get out of here, bro.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
but I do
trivia in this
remember
one-
Nigel Mansell winning one. So.
Trivia in this one is kind of tough because
And I got the hardest one, too.
as when we go into trivia, you understand why, because like French Grand Prix has been all over the.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the hard one.
But only in France, though, right? It has been all over the place. All right. I'll go home.
How dare you question me? All right, let's do this.
Name the first engine manufacturer to win the first French Grand Prix in 1906 and then had to wait another 73 years to win again.
Mercedes.
Renault.
How you guess that one was?
French manufacturer.
That's how you got. Yeah, but damn, Renault took that long to.
Yeah.
Damn it. All right. So you're up now.
He's up 2, no?
No, I'm up 1. You pulled it because you changed it to
Oh, yeah.
1.
Because we had to. It was so hard. I thought it was medium, by the way. And it was so hard.
There are no other questions.
That's it. It's tough to do these questions for this one, especially because there's so much history, like in French Grand Prix and all the other stuff that to find close to when we've been watching Formula One and so the questions that, obviously general knowledge question that we might be able to guess or come close to.
You should do it anyways and just challenge us.
Excuse me.
I'm waiting for the challenge.
So you're good.
Yeah.
All right. Take it away for history then.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, so the French Grand Prix, France was the birthplace of like modern Grand Prix racing. It's been happening for like over 100 years. Obviously, Formula One hasn't been around for that long, but the French Grand Prix has been held in 16 different circuits over the years. Early ones were done like on public streets, including the running of the first, all the way to Le Mans and all that stuff. Because it was, so it's just tricky, But let's concentrate. I concentrated more on this track, the Paul Ricard track. So the track was built in 1969 by a Patisse. I have no idea if I'm.
What is it?
Patisse magnet.
Okay.
That's like a liquor or pastis, something like that.
Probably Baker.
No, it's
Pastry.
It's no, it has to do with liquor, I think.
Okay.
Which the track was named after his name. He wanted to experience the challenge of building a racetrack. That's how like you're loaded when you want to feel the experience of building a racetrack, and a guy named Paul Ricard. Formula One came back in 2018. It was previously on and off between 1971 and 1990, but I know from 85 to 90 it was on for like 5 years straight. There are actually so many different layouts in this track that in some areas it looks like a rainbow. There's a total of 167 layouts that you could make on this track. Yeah, so like track configuration.
It's so confusing. I don't even know how drivers can like keep it on whatever track they choose.
Well, thank God it's not a rave. You know, like when the people are going to be like on ecstasy and stuff like that because they're going to be with all the colors.
No way.
What happened?
That was so random. It's not a rave.
Yeah, with all the colors and stuff like that, you're missing.
It's not ecstasy anymore.
Maybe I have to
Molly,
go
dude.
get on Molly and go to Paul Ricard.
This it shows that
Oh,
we're talking
my
about
Lord.
history, talking about so.
That's hilarious.
The current layout has 15 turns, and it has a lap distance of almost 6 kilometers. The lap record is better in 2018 with the cheating engine. But going back to the original track,
Yo, I'm gonna snap on that.
but going back, the original track, the Paul Ricard track was almost had a 2 kilometer straight, which was like super hard on the engines for running a full rev for so long. Obviously, the incident was in '85 where Senna crashed when his Lotus Renault engine failed and he spun on his own oil, by the way, causing him to crash heavy. But he was also later obviously diagnosed. It was on like minor bruising that he took when he actually on a turning sickness or sickness, whatever it's called. The same weekend, Nigel Mansell crashed in about the same area, giving him like a concussion, which kept him out of the race for that weekend. Mansell crash was a result of a slow punch, causing the wheel to explode like at 320 kilometers per hour.
Jesus.
So pretty much similar to Baku, where they maybe had a slow puncher.
No, well, maybe, but I think the tires in Baku just straight up exploded.
The most
Either
successful
way,
drivers,
something that
Schumacher with 8 of French Grand Prix.
That's crazy.
The most successful constructor is actually Ferrari with 17.
Holy.
Let's go, baby.
You know how it is.
That's in like all of history, right? Going back to
Yeah.
1906.
Well, Ferrari.
I'm surprised you didn't say that the last
until later on, but yeah.
Surprised you didn't say the last Ferrari victory was a cheating engine. You
I did see it. Lap record is better in 2019
haters.
with the cheating engine.
You're right.
That's all I got on history.
All right. So, I mean, recent history is the last race that we held here was in 2019. Last year's 2020 race was obviously canceled. Pole position was Lewis Hamilton, and qualifying wise, second was Bottas, third was Charles Leclerc with our favorite engine. The results of the race were a Bottas, Leclerc podium with Verstappen and Vettel following up closely. Well, Verstappen following close behind him, Vettel about a minute out after Lewis Hamilton, and then Carlos Sainz in the McLaren. Gentlemen, pole position, who do you got? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Lewis Hamilton.
Well, that's surprising.
Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen. That's where I'm going.
Whoa.
Fourth, Perez. And then fifth, Leclerc.
This is for qualifying?
Yeah.
What do you got, Ruben?
I will say Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas. Fourth, definitely not Paris. I know it's not Paris, fourth, but
Well, who's jumping in there?
I would put Charles Leclerc.
On fourth?
Yeah.
So fifth?
Fifth would be, I don't know, I want to give this guy a chance this weekend. Norris.
So what's changing this week that you guys have Mercedes so high up there?
Well, one, we're back to non-street circuits, which we talked about last week, that their issue seems to be warming up the tires on these street circuits. It is a power track. They're not going to have that, Sector 2 of Baku and obviously all of Monaco. That slowed them down. This is a track that I believe, so Mercedes won it, Hamilton won it in 19, and I believe that they also won it in 18.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't go back to it. Sorry, I'm a little slow.
2 wins, 18, 19.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, the Red Bull is better this year, but Mercedes still has its advantages, and that's being the engine itself, and the overall car is still very good.
And they have Lewis Hamilton.
And they have the top dog still, even though he's trailing right now.
Not for long.
It's like LeBron going into what we'll call it the second quarter.
And I went also with Hamilton because they have to put up this weekend or shut up already. With the pointing finger and all
We're
that
getting to the real tracks. We're getting to
stuff. Exactly.
La Castellet and Austria *2.
I'm gonna agree with you both. It'll be
Wow.
Hamilton and
Write that
Bottas.
one down. That's like the first time.
Oh, you said I didn't say Bottas for a second. I said Max.
Well, no, I said Hamilton and Bottas.
Yeah, he said.
But the reason why and Verstappen third. But the reason why is that remember that the new regulations for the
Flexible
wings will be in effect for this weekend. And the teams, or I think, the main team that was being accused of having flexible wings was Red Bull. And then you have, obviously, Alpine and Ferrari, which had admitted that they're going to have to change their wings. So, and the Mercedes engine is still the top dog in as far as engine is concerned, in my view. So that's why I'm going with Mercedes. Norris will be fourth, and I'll put Leclerc fifth. McLaren is pretty good at normal tracks, have we seen? And they have the Mercedes engine.
Okay.
So, well, that's qualifying. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Walter.
No, I was gonna say we thought McLaren with the Mercedes engine was gonna do really well in Baku, and we did not necessarily see that. But that was not a normal track; that was a street track.
Right.
And then what I wanted to say also is because this doesn't have like the slow sectors like a Baku or like Monaco, I don't know if the flexi wing is gonna play that much of an effect because you could turn up your rear wing drag and then be aided in the straights is what was happening before. But here, you're not going to have that much downforce.
No, but you have very long straights. Well, not a long straight, but you have definitely have sections where the car is going to be
Flat out?
flat out.
Yeah, but it's not...
So in Sector 2...
You're not fighting against higher drag. You're not looking to have high drag in any sector, though, because... So that would eliminate the flex, the advantage of the flex, is my opinion.
You're not going to have high drag?
Yeah, if you look at the sectors for La Castellet, it doesn't look like there's any sectors that you need to really twist and turn and wind through them like you did in Sector 2 of Baku. Or
Yeah, so
Monaco.
you're not going to have...
You're
not going to have sections where you need crazy downforce.
Correct.
Is what you're saying.
Correct, and that kind of
Yeah.
eliminates the benefit of the change
wings?
from the flexing wing. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Right?
I mean, but I still
No,
think that it... well, yeah. But the thing is that for example, you have these long straights. So you have the straights obviously in Sector 2, and then going into exiting Sector 3, going into Sector 1 on the main straight. Those are DRS. But after the chicane at 8 and 9, you're definitely those flexi wings could play a role, and also in Sector 1 after that turn 1. That seems to be flat out even going into turns 3 and 4. So it could play a role. Not saying that it will, but you definitely have a point. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I mean...
That's two. That you agree, and now you're saying that I'm right. I'm not saying that.
No, I'm not saying that you're right. I'm just saying that it could be... I mean...
You're saying I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So what's that?
So, I mean, you're not right either.
All right, so I have... Sorry, you were going to say something?
No, I got a question.
What's up?
No, go ahead. Let's finish.
So as far as the race prediction, Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, then Perez, and then for me, Charles Leclerc. So I'm flipping Bottas and Verstappen during the race.
Yeah. Just because Verstappen just has the pace.
I would agree with the same people you mentioned, because obviously that's how I had it laid out as qualifying. But I will put Perez in fourth, even though he's not qualifying in the top 5. No, you didn't.
I said Perez fourth and Leclerc fifth.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Apology accepted.
So yeah, like for me, it would be the same. For me, it would be the same way that you just mentioned, pretty much. But even though Leclerc has more of a elbows out as far as higher to me than Norris. Norris is still fighting, and he's still like at the heels there to try to get his chance. But Leclerc does not let him through, so that's why I will agree with him in saying Leclerc fifth.
How nice is it that after last year we're talking about Ferrari at least as best of the rest, and not like, oh, they're going to lose to McLaren, they're going to lose to potentially Renault, etc.
How do you feel about that?
Give us the applause one. All right, so I am going to go with Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez, Bottas fourth.
Why do you think fourth?
I think that the Red Bull can keep up with Mercedes, so they're thereabouts. It's just a matter of you can overtake or not. And I just think that Perez has found something in the car where he's going to be able to qualify better, and I think he has better pace than Bottas so far this year. And then I'll put Norris fifth. Leclerc, Ferrari in general, as they showed in Baku, their car is better. This is why they did so well in Monaco and in Baku, is that their car is very good through slow speed corners. You have very little of that in France.
We talk about Leclerc, but that could easily be Carlos Sainz too, who has been showing out.
Very much so, because they're very close. It's just, he's either a 10th behind or he just has bad luck.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Go ahead.
We have seen the resurgence of one Sebastian Vettel. Where do we see him in this race?
If they get a good result, it's going to be the same way they have gotten a good result the past few races. Strategy. The field is very close. After
the top two teams.
Yeah, after Mercedes and Red Bull, the likes of McLaren, Ferrari, sometimes Alpine, sometimes
Aston
Martin,
sometimes AlphaTauri.
Yeah, and we're forgetting about AlphaTauri, who
looked great last week, and seems like Tsunoda is getting on top of things somewhat. So it's a crapshoot, really. You don't know who. There's no clear favorite there. And it's all track dependent who's going to do better. So obviously we saw Ferrari do a lot better in the slower corners of Baku and Monaco, but when you get to these traditional tracks, you're going to see the performance go up and down. And it just depends on how good the car is, how good the setup is, and how good the driver is that weekend. Did you guys see that Franz Tost said that Tsunoda was driving so fast that he was afraid that he was going to crash. That Tost was afraid that Tsunoda was going to crash. That means you're right on the limit, right? That's where you want your driver to be?
Yeah, but I think his worry might be that he's going over the limit. So you have, as a young driver, especially when you're driving an F1 car, you want to be on the limit, but you don't want to go over the limit. And we've seen various cases where Tsunoda has gone over the limit and has either crashed out or, just had a bad race with he'll cook the tires. There's been so many different things with him.
And it's a balance.
Yeah, and it's a balance. And we can see that he can get out of control. Just hear his radio messages. So if he's out of control in his radio, he's probably out of control driving. So it's one of those things where I think they had him move to Faenza to work with the team closer and, iron those small things out, because obviously he's quick.
Yeah.
But as with any young racing driver, you have to hone in their, you have to hone them in. You have to make sure that that energy that they have, how quick they are, is pinpointed to the goal of actually getting points in this case and not messing up. If you're driving over the limit, that means the car's going off, you're crashing.
Something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen. If you're driving under the limit, that means you're not going fast enough. So you got to be right on the limit.
Ruben, you had something before we moved on to the race predictions.
Why does this track have the rep of being a boring race?
Because the last 2 times it's been boring.
Been boring.
There's no overtaking. Whoever
That's strange, right?
Whoever-
it should
yeah.
be made for like overtake. Like
Yeah.
so many
Because it's a fast track.
whoever and it doesn't punish any mistakes. That's
maybe
the issue.
that's it. Yeah.
Because obviously we had Monaco wasn't a great race, but we had a very good race in Baku. But
At the end.
well, I mean, it doesn't. Listen, when we call a good race, doesn't matter if it's at the end or the beginning. It was still a good race. Most races when we call it a good race is because something goes awry at the end. So I don't want to start dissecting races where it's boring in the first 34 laps or something. A good race is a good race because we get an unexpected result or the racing was good. In this case, when it comes to Paul Ricard, you have huge runoff areas. There's no gravel or grass or walls to throw up, maybe take a car out of
So
position.
it's a safe track.
Yeah, it's a safe track. I mean, if you go off, you can join off and you can either make up some places or stay in the place that you are. So you're not going to get crazy accidents that can, bring out a red flag or a safety car. It's just a straight up forward procession, really. And, there's no tricky corners or crazy hard braking zones either. So it is what it is. It's a very technologically advanced tracks because those red lines and those blue lines are actually like rough surfaces designed to stop the cars.
Gotcha.
That's why you have different layouts. A lot of people test there.
And I was saying it's part of a
Yeah.
race. It's part of the race.
No, it's just, that's what it looks like. It looks like, you go out there, pop a molly, and things are going to go crazy.
Get sweaty.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just a track layout. There's really nothing to punish the drivers if they make a mistake or anything like that. And isn't that the debate now? That there's no grass or gravel to punish the car, the drivers if they go off or something like that.
My last question. We're in the French Grand Prix. Who does better? Ocon or Gasly?
Gasly.
Definitely, guys.
I'm going with Ocon.
Woo! Why?
He's in the French team. They're gonna want to show out.
They don't even know what's wrong with their car yet. And AlphaTauri that car's quick.
Twice this season it's been fast.
Come on, the car has been quick
Which
all
one?
season. AlphaTauri, it's been quick because obviously the team hasn't performed.
Yeah.
And then there's been mistakes made, but for the most part, look at Gasly's qualifying results. He's always in Q3.
Okay.
You can't say that about Alpine.
I got one.
You're wrong.
I'm just not right, okay?
I just got another something in my head. So, or related to France or French descent or whatever you want to call it. So we got Ocon, Gasly, and Leclerc.
That's not French. He's Monegasque.
Isn't that part of France?
No,
Okay, no.
they're next to each other. That's like saying that.
So out of those three, who lives closer to a track?
That's like saying Max is Austrian. What happened?
Out of those three, who lives closer to a track?
All three of them, if they live in Monaco. Monaco's right there to it.
I was going to say Leclerc because he actually resides in Monaco.
But doesn't Gasly live?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know who lives
Okay.
there. I know.
Just a question that I got, a little blue like that.
Maybe we'll have an answer for you next week.
Anything else, boys? Yeah. Anything else, boys, before we wrap this guy up? Here we go again. They lost it.
No, I don't have anything. I don't have anything.
Our social media for exactly my feelings when we get to this point.
Yo, I liked in the little clip that Wellington posted today. He's like looking like,
I think if we laugh a little bit more, he's gonna kill. Look at it.
Go ahead, Wellington.
All right, guys. So you can find us on many, many podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeart Radio, TuneIn, and Stitcher. We're also on YouTube. Hi. You could get us on Twitter at JumpToStartF1. That's at JumpToStartF1. That's also the same handle for Instagram at JumpToStartF1. Make sure to follow us, like, subscribe. Smash the like button, as they say, right? Hit the bell. That's how people find out about us. And on that note, we will catch you next week. Please, hopefully, maybe enjoy the French Grand Prix.
Best
See y'all
race
later.
ever! Woo!